Take 3! Welcome to day 5 of Designing a Tabletop RPG with your host, me, Adam Bell. In the previous episode, we got into the specifics of the dice system that I'm going to try to use. We made good progress on that, but the next step for that dice system is to figure out the stats and perils that are going to be listed on the character sheets. So, figuring out the verbs that the characters are going to be doing and the nouns that the characters are going to have get in their way. And to do that, we need to go back and figure out the setting. Previously, I had discussed about a bunch of stuff relating to this, and, found a bunch of concerns that I had with it. We talked about that already, and then have been going back and forth off camera for a while. Earlier today, I recorded a long kind of me talking through what could be done next. I don't think that's going to be part of this, but yeah, the result of that and then some additional brainstorming with some people on the internet, thank you, you know who you are, have led me to realize, of course, that I'm getting bogged down into details of the history of the setting and just need to worry about the setting itself. Players can, of course, fill in that history themselves, and that mystery should be a big part of it. Because I do like games like that, and I think that is probably more my speed. So instead of me trying to force myself into making a very specific setting, which is what I was trying to do, I can make, I could provide a feeling for a setting, and then at the table players can arrive on how they got there in the first place. And I think that's better for me, better for you, better for everybody. Let me talk about what I have as a setting right now. So I mentioned previously that I want it to be post-Anthropocene. So post-Anthropocene meaning not post-apocalypse, so I don't want there to have been some huge calamity that wiped everything off the face of the planet, but I want people to be less. I was talking about how in the previous video that rich people fled the planet with all of the stuff. So I want there to be that similar vibe, but I don't need to specifically be saying rich people fled the planet. I can fit in the anti-capitalist message without being quite so ham-fisted, probably. We will see. There's a good chance that I refer to such a fleeing, but I don't want to spell it out because the implications and the storytelling difficulties that I've been having to try to explain how that affects the whole world have just slowed me down completely on this. And so there are a lot of answers for why people are not quite as prevalent as they used to be on the planet that this game takes place in, and a lot of those answers can be found at your table. I think one mode of play for this game that will be made available by the rules explicitly is going to be like a settlement building type deal, where you're in this world that there is not, the structures of modern society are no longer available. I mean, there's obviously ruins and buildings and stuff that has been abandoned for some reason, but there aren't enough people concentrated anywhere to have a functioning metropolis type deal. And because of that, and because for some reason a lot of people aren't on the planet anymore, there's going to be weird power vacuums that opened up that, in some places, hopefully people have fought together and created something as a small society where they're more, where they're working together for a common need. They've made something egalitarian work. But there's going to be places where somebody set up, there's going to be robber barons and shit, I'm sure. Somebody sets up and gathers all the weapons of the area, and then they have the ability to enforce their will and create some sort of feudal bullshit for themselves. There will be places that maybe you can't really go to because there's a wormhole. There will be places that were touched by small disasters from either, a big ship leaving the planet or from a wormhole being opened that took people that used to live there to somewhere else, and then God knows the repercussions of that. There's going to be places where maybe something like that, some sort of magical travel occurred, and the results of that was something coming back, and so you've got something. There will be places where people tried to escape via some sort of magical means. Some long lost magic was resurfaced to try to get people off of this planet that was heading towards certain climate destruction, and the result of that is they went somewhere else, and then something came to where they are. So I don't know if that's just fucking poison. This can open the door for a lot of different things. A lot of anachronistic things could be here. You can have maybe just intense wildlife, maybe a fucking dragon, maybe there's like an insular community that like didn't know what happened, but they're suddenly on this other planet and they are making the best of it. The other thing that might be in the world is maybe somebody intentionally sent something back through a wormhole to terraform the planet, to reset it so that they can return one day to their ancestral planet, as opposed, like, if things don't work out where they are, they can come back to planet A if planet B doesn't work out. I think stuff like that will be present in the setting. So one of the modes of play, I forget if I've already discussed this, but one of the modes of play will be a settlement building type deal, where you are trying to piece together a nice place for people to live and trying to go out and find people that like need help, and going out and finding other friendly settlements to like trade with, and being aware of people that are less friendly, and considering those feudal lords that have cropped up, and maybe handling that. So that's one mode of play. Another could just be like going on an adventure, traveling the world and like exploring the different rifts. So I think what's emerging here in my mind is similar to, here we go again, similar to Crews in Blades in the Dark, where there are, are you assassins? Are you smugglers? What are you? There could just be playbooks for like the style of campaign that you're trying to take care of. And I'm not going to commit to this right now, but in thinking of what this game looks like and what play looks like, I'm arriving on that as a possibility. So you've got the base building playbook, like campaign playbook. So then you've got a set of sub mechanics that you're using to like explore elsewhere, and then try to bring people in, and you can keep track of like resources that people are needing and stuff like that if you want that style of play. And then maybe there's a different one for just like an adventure type deal, so you figure out quests to go on and shit like that. Another could be like a historian playbook, where you are just going around and trying to document everything, and also trying to piece together what happened before. So I think at least those three should be valid modes of play here. So with that in mind, I know that characters in this game are going to be trying to care for people, trying to investigate, trying to maybe interact with the magics that allowed transportation to and from the planet to have occurred, maybe doing some sort of astronomy to try to figure out where people went, if anywhere, doing some sort of, there's going to be robot stuff for trying to confront the terraforming robots, diplomacy stuff for when there's other people around. And so I think that gives me a pretty strong base of where to go with the action ratings. Back to Blades in the Dark. Blades in the Dark has things like Prowl and Sneak, whereas I don't necessarily think sneaking is really going to be as important, so I won't need multiple ways to sneak around. I'm sure there's always going to be sneaking because, in a tabletop role-playing game, somebody's always walking on their tiptoes. But it does not need to be a focus. Yeah. So I guess that'll probably be it for today. I think that'll be a short one.